Thank you and good morning. First of all, I just wanted to welcome you all here this morning. It's really great to see such a lot of people coming in and taking the time. I know everyone's time is very valuable, especially this time of year. Everyone's trying to squeeze everything in before Christmas, and someone just remarked that we've got the healthy snacks on the table, and that's so you can have more things for Christmas later, so enjoy the healthy snacks today. Look, today's workshop is really about exploring options for the long-term plan to manage the CBD here in Sydney. And we're going to have a group of expert people talk to you about some of the challenges that we're facing, some of the options that we think there are for managing those challenges. But actually, as I look around the room today, I see a whole heap of experts in their own right all sitting out here. And so today's also about trying to hear from you. So we really would value your feedback and your opinion, and we've got a series of activities organised today where actually we can have your opinion heard. So please make sure that you participate. We really would value that input. We want to get the best plan that we can for the Sydney CBD. So when you look at Sydney, the one thing you see is a beautiful city. No matter where you go, you see it's a city that's bounded by natural beauty. It's one of the economic powerhouses of Australia at the moment. What you can't see is a lot of the infrastructure that powers up the city. There's obviously a lot of things that we'll talk to you about today that can't be seen, and hopefully today we'll show you some of the facts about how the infrastructure is operating and how it's working. Ausgrid and TransGrid obviously work closely together to manage the load here in the CBD, and it's critical for us to get a long-term plan that we can actually execute. We need to be at a situation hopefully moving forward where we're not just talking about how to manage the CBD, but actually reaching agreement with all the stakeholders about the best way to manage the CBD and actually start to put those plans in place. If we have a look at Sydney itself, it's not surprising that you can see from the heat map here where most of the load is concentrated in Sydney. As you'd expect, it's around the CBD area. We have all the high-rise buildings in that area. We have a lot of the load in that area. Obviously, there's a lot of sensitive loads in that area. When people live and work in Sydney, they make the commute to the CBD every day to work, and so there's transport hubs and corridors that come into the CBD area. Not only that, but Sydney's going through an unprecedented growth phase as well, and when you look around you outside, you'll see lots of cranes in the air, so to speak, with activity happening. There's new metro systems, there's changes happening to the modal hubs out at Port Botany, and all of these things are changing the way that Sydney operates and runs. And obviously from our point of view, it's important that we understand what those changes look like, communicate with yourselves about what they are, and have a conversation about how we want to manage those things going forward. So what we can tell you about the CBD area is that it is a complex cable network that actually supplies the CBD. It was built around the 60s and 70s, as you'd expect, and if you look through time you'll see these growth phases that occur in Sydney, and you'll see the infrastructure that comes in at that time. But like all things, the cable network is starting to age and degrade, and so it's time to start thinking about what to do next and how to manage that appropriately. And one of the things we want to try to put on the table today is that timing is important. You know, to put new infrastructure into a city like Sydney does take time. There's a lot of stakeholders involved, especially when you're trying to put infrastructure that's longitudinal and goes somewhere. There's a lot of people that you need to interact with. There's a lot of people that are interested in the project. There are a lot of people who'd like to know what the solution is. Why is it so? How come you chose that solution? Why did you choose to put it here? Why didn't you choose to do something else? And so you'll hear those questions again and again today as we work together and hopefully work through to come to some answers as well, so that we can have a conversation with other people who are not here today to say this is why we're looking at a plan, whatever that plan is when we get it put together. And so again, there's a commitment to making sure that we're having an open dialogue, that we're taking all the ideas in and hopefully today will be a clear demonstration of that. One of the things I would like to say though is that this is not the start of our journey with managing the CBD here in Sydney. We've been working on a solution for quite some time now. We started in 2014 and had a lot of public consultation then about a possible solution for managing the city. But there were changes in demand forecasts, there were changes in some of the attributes of managing the cable network, and we were able to defer that project for a little bit longer. And as I said to someone this morning, we can always take the option of kicking the can down the road a little bit further, but the fact is that at some point we need a solid plan that we can rely on going forward. So today what I'd like to say is that we've got a number of things happening. We are moving formally through the RIT-T for transmission test, and the first part of that is the PSCR document. Hopefully you've all had an opportunity to have a look at it and have a look at the content. I think there's copies available here today if people haven't seen it. There's a number of things have been changing for us, and that'll be spoken about today in terms of the demand and the demand profile and what that looks like, and how this economic growth that's happening in Sydney is affecting the outlook for demand. The other thing that's very important just to touch on, and it'll be spoken about in detail later, is that IPART have been working on a new reliability standard, not just for Sydney CBD, but for all of New South Wales as well. And that does mean some changes to the way that we actually manage the CBD area and the CBD load. And we'd like to explore that with you today as well. The standard's in a draft form. We understand that IPART have been moving forward and speaking with government about bringing the reliability standard into being. But again, it's part of the process with understanding what does that change mean and what does it mean to managing the CBD area. So lastly, I'd just like to conclude with, we've got a whole heap of activities today. We've got a lot of expert commentary. A lot of you are experts in your own right. Please help us to put together the best plan we can by participating, and we look forward to having a very good day and getting some great outcomes. Thank you very much.